the eternal question that haunts us all. There comes a moment in every life, perhaps in the quiet of early dawn, or in the stillness after great loss, or in the midst of overwhelming beauty, when you feel it. That stirring, that profound questioning that seems to emerge from the very marrow of your being. Who am I? Where did I come from? Where am I going? You have felt this, haven't you? This insatiable hunger that no earthly satisfaction can truly fill. It's the restless search of the human spirit, an ancient calling that echoes through generations, through civilizations, through the very fabric of human existence. It's as if your soul carries within it a primordial memory of something greater, something more complete. And no matter how successful your external life becomes, this inner yearning persists. In the quiet moments when you're alone with yourself, really alone, without distractions or busy work to occupy your mind, this question arises with such intensity that it can feel overwhelming. It's not merely intellectual curiosity. It's something far deeper. It's the call of your authentic self, your true nature, seeking to be known, to be understood, to be lived fully. Consider for a moment. When did you first feel this stirring? Perhaps you were a child, lying in bed at night, suddenly struck by the vastness of the universe and your small place within it. Or maybe it came later, during a time of crisis when the structures of your life seemed to crumble and you were left facing the raw reality of existence. Whenever it first touched you, you knew instinctively that this was the most important question you would ever explore. Yet here's the beautiful mystery. This searching is not a problem to be solved, but a sacred dimension of being human. You are not broken because you feel this restlessness. You are not lacking because earthly achievements don't satisfy this deeper hunger. You are simply awake to the magnificent truth that you are far more than what appears on the surface. The sacred nature of not knowing what. If I told you that this very searching, this not knowing is itself sacred, what if the mystery you carry within isn't meant to be solved, but to be lived, experienced, and honored as the holy ground of your existence? We live in a culture obsessed with answers, with certainty, with the illusion that everything can be explained, categorized, and controlled. But your soul operates by different laws. It thrives in mystery. It finds its deepest nourishment not in knowing but in wondering, not in grasping but in surrendering to the vastness of what cannot be fully comprehended. This has always been true. From the beginning of human consciousness, the greatest question has remained: what is the nature of this mysterious being that I am? Ancient wisdom traditions recognize this eternal inquiry not as a failure of understanding, but as the very essence of spiritual life. The mystics, the sages, the awakened ones throughout history, they all knew that the deepest truths cannot be captured in words or concepts, but can only be lived, breathed, and embodied. So when you feel that familiar stirring of existential questioning, instead of trying to silence it or find quick answers, what if you welcomed it as a sacred visitor? What if you understood that this very questioning is your soul's way of keeping you connected to the infinite mystery of existence? Your spiritual eyes, those inner organs of perception that see beyond the physical, they function like a reverse mirror, don't they? Instead of showing you the outer world, they turn your attention inward into the vast landscape of your inner being. And what do you find there? Not answers, but deeper questions. Not solid ground, but infinite space. Not a small, limited self, but an immeasurable presence that somehow knows itself to be both utterly unique and completely connected to everything that exists. Embracing the paradox of self-discovery. Here's the paradox that will either frustrate you or liberate you. The more deeply you journey into yourself, the more you realize how little you actually know about who you are. You are an abyss, not empty, but full beyond measure. You are a sealed mystery, a secret entrusted by the divine to be gradually revealed through the living of your life. This isn't poetic metaphor. This is the literal truth of your existence. Science tells us that we use only a tiny fraction of our brain's capacity. Mystics tell us we experience only a small portion of our consciousness. What lies in the unexplored territories of your being? What capacities, what wisdom, what love remains hidden, waiting for the right conditions to emerge? You are not meant to figure yourself out like a puzzle to be solved. You are meant to discover yourself like a vast territory to be explored, with new landscapes revealing themselves as you develop the courage and wisdom to venture further into the unknown regions of your being. Think of the great explorers who mapped new continents. They didn't know what they would find beyond the horizon. They sailed into mystery, guided by stars and intuition, faith and curiosity. Your inner exploration requires the same spirit of adventure, the same willingness to leave the familiar shores of what you think you know about yourself and sail into uncharted waters. What would change in your life if you truly accepted that you are a mystery to be lived rather than a problem to be solved? What would open up if you stopped trying to define yourself so precisely and instead allowed yourself to be surprised by the depths of your own being, the contradictions that make you human? You are not one thing. You are not simple, straightforward, or easily categorized. You are a walking paradox, a living contradiction, a beautiful complexity that defies all attempts at simplification. And this is not a flaw. This is your glory. In the morning, you might wake up feeling as gentle as a soft mist, barely disturbing the air around you, moving through your day with quiet grace and tender care for all living things. Your presence soothes others. Your words carry healing. You are peace embodied, love made manifest in human form. But then something touches the deeper currents within you, perhaps injustice witnessed, or a threat to something you hold sacred, or simply the raw power of your own life force surging through your being. And suddenly, you are no longer the gentle mist. You are the fierce storm, intense as lightning and thunder, powerful enough to shake the foundations of whatever needs shaking. This is you, both the mist and the storm, both the gentle caress and the transformative force. And rather than seeing this as inconsistency, what if you recognized it as the full spectrum of your spiritual nature? You are fragile and strong simultaneously. You can be broken open by beauty, moved to tears by a child's laugh or a sunset's glory, yet you possess within you reserves of strength that surprise even you when circumstances demand it. You have survived everything that has happened to you so far, haven't you? You have weathered storms that seemed unsurvivable, lost things that seemed essential, faced fears that seemed insurmountable, and yet here you are, still breathing, still growing, still becoming, the parchment of your life. Your life is like a parchment, not blank, but inscribed with invisible ink that becomes visible only as you live it fully, courageously, authentically. The words written upon the parchment of your existence are meant to be lived first and understood later. You are both the author and the reader of this sacred text, both the story and the storyteller. But here's what makes it even more extraordinary. Your story is not just for you. Your life is meant to be told through the voices that echo in the immensity of the universe. Every authentic moment you live, every truth you embody, every act of courage or compassion you express sends ripples through the cosmic web of consciousness. Your individual journey contributes to the collective awakening of humanity. You might wonder, how can my small life possibly matter in the vastness of existence? But consider this. Every great symphony depends on each individual note being played with perfect timing and intention. Every magnificent tapestry requires each thread to hold its place with integrity. You are that note, that thread, that irreplaceable element in the grand composition of existence. When you live authentically, when you honor both your gentleness and your power, when you allow yourself to be fully human in all your beautiful contradictions, You are fulfilling a cosmic purpose. You are adding your unique voice to the great song of existence. You are weaving your singular thread into the infinite tapestry of being, the magnetic field of authentic being. There's something remarkable that happens when you begin to accept and integrate all aspects of yourself. The light and the shadow, the strength and the vulnerability, the known and the mysterious. You begin to emit what can only be described as a magnetic field of authentic being. This isn't something you create artificially or practice like a technique. It emerges naturally when you stop fighting against your own nature and start embracing the full spectrum of who you are. People feel it when they're around you, though they might not be able to name what they're sensing. It's the resonance of someone who is genuinely comfortable with their own humanity, their own mystery. This magnetic field of authenticity doesn't reach just to the people in your immediate environment. It extends into what mystics have called the subtle dimensions of existence, those layers of reality that we feel but cannot see. Your inner state of integration and self-acceptance contributes to the healing of the collective human psyche. When you are at peace with your contradictions, you give others permission to be at peace with theirs. When you embrace your mystery, rather than trying to solve yourself, you remind others that they too are allowed to be wonderfully complex beings who don't fit into neat categories. Living the questions. The poet Rainer Maria Rilke once wrote, "Live the questions now. Perhaps you will then gradually, without noticing it, live along some distant day into the answer." This is the invitation that your soul extends to you every moment of every day. Instead of being frustrated by the questions that arise within you, what if you lived them? What if you carried them with you like precious companions, allowing them to deepen your experience, to open you to wonder, to keep you in that beautiful state of not knowing that is the doorway to all wisdom? The questions that live within you are not obstacles to overcome, but gateways to explore. Who am I? Where did I come from? Where am I going? These are not problems seeking solutions, but mysteries inviting participation. You are the gentle mist learning to love the storm within you. You are the fierce tempest learning to appreciate the quiet spaces between the thunder. You are the fragile strength that holds both tenderness and power without contradiction. Because you are beginning to understand that true wholeness includes everything, rejects nothing, and finds the sacred thread that connects all apparent opposites. Turning the mirror of awareness inward. Your spiritual eyes, they work differently than your physical ones, don't they? Where your outer vision shows you the world of forms and surfaces, your inner sight reveals dimensions that exist beyond the reach of ordinary perception. It's as if you carry within you a reverse mirror, one that instead of reflecting external images back to you, invites you to turn toward the infinite landscape within. But here's what you've probably discovered in your moments of deep introspection. The more you look inward, the more vast the territory becomes. What seemed like a simple journey into self-understanding becomes an exploration of immeasurable depths. You lose yourself in the immensity of your own being, only to find that this losing is actually a finding of something far greater than the small self you thought you knew. Have you noticed how this happens? You sit quietly, perhaps in meditation or prayer, or simply in a moment of stillness, and you direct your attention inward. At first, you encounter the familiar landscape of your thoughts, your emotions, your memories. But if you continue deeper, something extraordinary occurs. The boundaries of you begin to dissolve. You discover that what you thought was a contained, separate self is actually a doorway into something infinitely vast. This is the mystery of spiritual seeing. The deeper you go into yourself, the more you realize that yourself is not separate from everything else. You are not an isolated island of consciousness, but an opening through which the entire universe experiences itself. The sacred practice of inner exploration. When you turn the mirror of your awareness inward, you begin to understand why the great spiritual traditions have always emphasized the importance of self-knowledge. Not because the self is the ultimate destination, but because authentic self-exploration inevitably leads you beyond the boundaries of the separate self into the recognition of your essential interconnectedness with all existence. This is not a philosophical concept to understand intellectually. This is a direct experience available to you in any moment of genuine inner attention. Right now, as you read these words, you can pause and turn your awareness inward. What do you find? Beneath your thoughts, beneath your emotions, beneath all the content of your consciousness, what is the space in which all of this appears? You might call it awareness, or consciousness, or simply the presence of being. Whatever you call it, notice that it has no boundaries, no beginning or end that you can locate. Notice that it is not separate from you. It is you at the most fundamental level. And yet it is also the same awareness that exists in every conscious being throughout the universe. This is what the mystics have always pointed toward when they spoke of the divine within. Not some separate entity residing inside you, but the very nature of your deepest being, awareness itself, consciousness itself, the witnessing presence that remains constant through all the changing experiences of your life, the paradox of knowing and not knowing. The more you explore with your spiritual eyes, the more you encounter a beautiful paradox. The deeper your insight becomes, the more you realize how little you actually know. But this is not the frustrated not knowing of ignorance. This is the liberated not knowing of wisdom. When you first began your spiritual search, you probably hoped that increasing spiritual awareness would give you more answers, more certainty, more control over your experience. But what you've likely discovered is something quite different. The more awake you become, the more comfortable you become with mystery. The more you see with your inner sight, the more you appreciate the vast unknown. This is because true seeing reveals that reality is far more mysterious, far more magical, far more incomprehensibly magnificent than the mind could ever grasp. Your spiritual eyes don't reduce mystery to knowledge. They reveal knowledge to be just the surface of an infinite mystery. Think of it this way. Imagine trying to contain the ocean in a cup. The cup represents your mind's capacity to understand, and the ocean represents the totality of existence. No matter how large you make the cup, it will always be infinitesimally small compared to the ocean. But here's the beautiful thing. You don't need to contain the ocean to be nourished by it. You can drink from it, swim in it, be held by it, be one with it. Losing yourself to find yourself. There's a profound teaching hidden in the experience of losing yourself in the immensity of your own being. What exactly is getting lost? It's the small, separate sense of self, the ego that believes it is isolated, limited, and defined by its history, roles, and circumstances. When this constructed identity dissolves in the face of deeper seeing, what remains? What remains is what you actually are beneath all the stories, roles, and identities you've accumulated. What remains is pure being, unlimited awareness, the eternal presence that has been with you since before your birth and will continue after your body returns to the earth. This losing of the false self is actually the finding of your true self. It's not that you disappear, it's that what you discover yourself to be is far vaster and more magnificent than you ever imagined. You realize that you are not a separate wave that somehow got cut off from the ocean, but that you are the ocean itself, temporarily expressing as a wave. When you truly see this, everything changes. Your problems don't disappear, but they are held within a much larger context. Your joys don't diminish, but they become expressions of a deeper joy that doesn't depend on circumstances. Your relationships don't end, but they are transformed by the recognition that what you love in others is the same essential being that you are. The invitation to deeper seeing your spiritual eyes are always available to you. They don't require special conditions or lengthy preparation. They simply require your willingness to pause, to turn your attention inward, to look not with the mind that seeks to analyze and control, but with the heart that is willing to receive and be transformed by what it sees. Today, in this moment, you can practice this deeper seeing. You can ask yourself, what is here when I'm not trying to be anyone in particular? What remains when I let go of all my stories about who I am supposed to be? What sees through these eyes? What breathes through this body? What loves through this heart? These are not questions to be answered with the mind, but to be explored with your spiritual vision. Let them take you deeper into the mystery of your own being. Let them guide you into the vast landscape of consciousness that you are. You are the enigma entrusted to creation. There exists within you a secret so profound, so sacred, that it has been entrusted only to the creative force of the universe to gradually reveal. You are not merely a collection of thoughts, emotions, and experiences randomly assembled. You are a carefully crafted enigma, a divine code written in the language of consciousness itself. Think about this for a moment. In all of human history, in all the billions of people who have walked this earth, there has never been another you. Not just in terms of your physical appearance or your personality, but in terms of the unique constellation of consciousness that you represent. Your particular way of experiencing existence, your specific lens through which the universe observes itself, your individual contribution to the symphony of being, this has never existed before and will never exist again. This is not an accident. This is not random. You are a specific answer to a cosmic question, a unique solution to an eternal mystery, a one-of-a-kind expression of infinite creative intelligence. But here's the profound part. Even you don't fully know what you are. You are a sealed mystery, even to yourself, waiting to be revealed through the living of your life. The abyss that contains infinity. When you look deeply into yourself, you discover something that can be both thrilling and terrifying. You are an abyss. Not empty, but infinitely deep. Not void, but full of potentialities that have never been explored. You contain multitudes, not just in terms of your complexity, but in terms of your capacity. What lives in the unexplored depths of your being? What gifts remain unwrapped? What love remains unexpressed? What creativity remains untapped? What wisdom remains unspoken? What courage remains unactivated? You could spend 1,000 lifetimes exploring the inner territories of your consciousness and still discover new continents of possibility. This can be overwhelming if you approach it with your limited sense of self. How can one person contain so much? How can one life express such infinite potential? But this is where the mystery deepens. You are not meant to express everything. You are meant to express your unique note in the cosmic symphony, your particular thread in the infinite tapestry. The abyss within you is not a burden to carry, but a treasure to explore. Each day, each moment, each authentic choice you make reveals a little more of what has been sealed within you. You are not trying to become something you're not. You're discovering what you've always been, but haven't yet had the courage or clarity to express. The tapestry woven by perfect hands. Imagine the most skilled artist who ever lived. Someone who understands not just technique, but the very essence of beauty, meaning, and purpose. Now imagine that this artist decided to create their masterpiece, not on canvas or in stone, but through the living fabric of a human life, your being, your unique expression of consciousness. Every thread of experience in your life, the joys and the sorrows, the victories and the defeats, the moments of clarity and the periods of confusion, all of it is being woven by this master artist into something of extraordinary beauty and meaning. From your limited perspective, You might see only the individual threads, some beautiful, some painful, some confusing. But from the perspective of the artist, every thread is essential to the overall pattern. This is not to say that suffering is necessary or that you should passively accept harmful situations. Rather, it's to recognize that your consciousness has the capacity to transform any experience into wisdom, any pain into compassion, any darkness into light. You are not a victim of your circumstances. You are the artist's apprentice, learning to cooperate with the creation of your own masterpiece. The threads of your experience don't become meaningful only when you understand them. They are meaningful in their very existence, in their contribution to the unique pattern that is your life. Your job is not to understand the entire design from your limited vantage point, but to trust the process and to weave your threads with as much consciousness and love as possible. The source of all perfection. Here's a truth that might challenge some of your deeply held beliefs. The creative intelligence that is weaving the tapestry of your life knows the source of perfection. Not perfection as the absence of flaws, but perfection as the complete expression of what is meant to be. You are not perfect in the sense that you have no room for growth or that you make no mistakes. You are perfect in the sense that you are exactly what existence needs you to be in this moment, at this stage of your development, in this particular configuration of consciousness. Your imperfections are not obstacles to overcome, but features of your unique design. This understanding can liberate you from the exhausting pursuit of some imagined ideal version of yourself. You don't need to become perfect. You need to become more fully yourself. You don't need to eliminate your flaws. You need to understand how even your apparent weaknesses serve the greater pattern of your being. The source of all perfection is not some external standard that you must measure up to. It is the creative intelligence that lives within you, that breathes through you, that expresses as you. When you align with this intelligence, when you live authentically, love genuinely, and contribute your unique gifts to the world, you are participating in the perfection that already exists. The gradual revelation. The mystery of who you are is not meant to be solved all at once. It is meant to be revealed gradually through the lived experience of being human. Each day offers new opportunities to discover aspects of yourself that were previously hidden. Each challenge reveals capacities you didn't know you possessed. Each relationship unveils dimensions of your heart you hadn't explored. This gradual revelation is not a bug in the system, it's a feature. It ensures that your life remains interesting, that you continue to grow, that you never reach a point where there's nothing left to discover about existence. You are both the mystery and the one who solves it, both the question and the answer, both the seeker and the sought. What if you approached each day with the curiosity of an explorer who knows there are new territories to discover? What if you met each challenge with the excitement of someone who knows they're about to learn something new about their own capacity? What if you engaged each relationship with the wonder of someone who knows they're about to discover new depths of their ability to love? You are the sealed secret entrusted to the universe to reveal, not to others first, but to yourself. The greatest adventure you will ever embark upon is the exploration of your own consciousness, the discovery of your own divine nature, the revelation of the masterpiece that you are. You are not utopia. You are evolution. There's a profound difference between being a fantasy and being a reality in constant transformation, isn't there? You are not a utopia, some perfect, static ideal that exists only in imagination. You are something far more magnificent. You are a living, breathing, constantly evolving expression of consciousness that never stops growing, never stops changing, never stops becoming more than you were before. This realization can be both liberating and challenging. Liberating because it frees you from the impossible pressure of having to be perfect or complete. Challenging because it means you can never rest in the illusion that you've figured it all out or reached some final destination of spiritual achievement. You are in constant motion, even when you feel stuck. Your consciousness is always expanding, even when you can't perceive the growth. Your capacity for love, wisdom, and authentic expression is always deepening, even during the periods when you feel like you're going backward or standing still. Think of a flower. It doesn't emerge from the soil fully formed. There's the hidden time in the darkness, the slow breaking through the earth, the gradual unfurling of leaves, the patient developing of the bud, and finally, the glorious blooming. But even then, the flower continues to change, to respond to light and weather, to fulfill its purpose through the seasons. You are like this flower, but your blooming is not a single event. It's a lifelong process. Each day you have the opportunity to unfurl new aspects of your being, to respond freshly to the light of awareness, to grow in directions you never expected. The magnetic field of authentic expression. When you embrace this constant becoming, something extraordinary happens. You begin to emit a magnetic field that extends far beyond your physical body, far beyond your immediate environment. This is not metaphor. This is the actual impact of a consciousness that is aligned with its own authentic evolution. This magnetic field reaches to the extreme layers of the cosmos because your individual transformation is not separate from the evolution of consciousness itself. When you grow, the entire universe grows. When you awaken to new dimensions of your being, you contribute to the awakening of all being. You might wonder, how is this possible? How can my small personal growth matter to the cosmos? But consider how quantum physics has revealed that everything in the universe is interconnected at the most fundamental level. There are no truly separate events, no isolated transformations. Your consciousness is not yours alone. It's a unique expression of the one consciousness that pervades all existence. When you make the choice to live authentically, rather than from conditioning, you make it easier for others to do the same. When you choose love over fear, compassion over judgment, truth over pretense, you strengthen these qualities in the collective human consciousness. Your individual spiritual blooming contributes to the spiritual evolution of our entire species. The paradox of singular individuality and plural essence. Here's one of the most beautiful mysteries of human existence. You are simultaneously absolutely unique and completely interconnected. You possess a singular individuality. There is no one else exactly like you in the entire universe. Your perspective, your way of loving, your particular gifts, your specific challenges, these belong uniquely to you. Yet at the same time, your essence is plural. You are connected to everything and everyone through invisible threads of consciousness, energy, and love. The world that exists within you, that inner universe of thoughts, feelings, intuitions, and dreams, is not separate from the outer universe. They interpenetrate each other. They are different dimensions of the same reality. You can feel this, can't you? In your moments of deepest connection, whether to another person, to nature, to the divine, or to your own essential being, the boundaries between self and other dissolve. You experience directly that you are both utterly unique and completely unified with all existence. This is why your individual spiritual blooming matters so much, because you are not just growing for yourself. Your expansion of consciousness is the universe expanding. Your deepening capacity for love is love itself deepening. Your increasing wisdom is wisdom itself becoming more manifest in the world, living in the invisible, feeling the eternal. Much of what is most real about you exists in dimensions that cannot be seen with physical eyes but can be felt with the heart, intuited by the soul, experienced in the depths of your being. You are a citizen of both the visible and invisible worlds, a bridge between form and formlessness, a translator between the eternal and the temporal. When you feel drawn to meditate, to spend time in nature, to create something beautiful, to serve others, You are responding to the invisible world's call. When you feel moved by music, touched by poetry, inspired by acts of courage or compassion, you are experiencing the invisible world's influence. This invisible dimension is not separate from your daily life. It interpenetrates every moment, every choice, every interaction. The question is not whether you're connected to this deeper reality. You always are. The question is whether you're conscious of this connection and whether you're allowing it to inform your choices and expressions. Your spiritual blooming involves becoming increasingly conscious of your citizenship in both worlds. It means learning to feel the eternal while living the temporal, to sense the infinite while engaging the finite, to embody the sacred while navigating the mundane. The continuous unfoldment, your spiritual evolution never ends. Even beyond this physical life, consciousness continues to grow, to explore new territories of being, to discover new dimensions of love and wisdom. Death is not the end of your journey, but a transition to different forms of exploration and expression. This understanding can profoundly change how you approach each day. Instead of seeing your current challenges as obstacles to overcome so you can finally be happy, you can recognize them as the curriculum for your consciousness, opportunities to develop new capacities, to deepen your understanding, to expand your ability to love. Every experience you have, pleasant or difficult, is contributing to your spiritual blooming. Every person you encounter is a teacher. Every situation is a classroom. Every choice is an opportunity to become more conscious, more loving, more authentic. You are not moving toward some distant goal of enlightenment or perfection. You are enlightenment and perfection expressing itself through the beautiful, messy, glorious process of being human. You are the cosmos knowing itself through your unique perspective. Love discovering new ways to express itself through your individual heart. The magnetic field you emit through your authentic becoming is your gift to the universe. The unique contribution that only you can make to the ongoing creation of reality. Trust this process. Embrace your constant becoming. Allow yourself to bloom in ways you never expected, reaching toward light you've never seen, rooted in love you've always known. Your life as Holy Scripture. Your life is not random. It is not a meaningless sequence of events happening to you by chance. Your life is a sacred parchment, inscribed with invisible ink that becomes visible only as you live it with full presence, authentic courage, and open heart. You are both the author and the reader of this Holy Scripture, both the story being told and the consciousness through which it is understood. But here's what makes it even more extraordinary. Your story is not just for you. Every authentic moment you live, every truth you embody, every act of love or courage you express becomes part of the great library of human wisdom. Your individual journey contributes to the collective story of humanity's spiritual evolution. Think about the moments in your life that felt most significant, most real, most alive. Were these not the times when you acted from your deepest truths, when you loved without holding back, when you faced your fears with courage, when you chose authenticity over approval? These moments didn't just change you. They sent ripples through the fabric of existence itself. Your story matters not because it is perfect, but because it is real. Not because you have avoided mistakes, but because you have learned from them. Not because you have suffered less than others, but because you have found meaning in your suffering and allowed it to deepen your capacity for compassion. The voices that echo through eternity. When you live authentically, when you speak your truth, when you love with an open heart, your voice joins the great chorus of voices that echo through the immensity of the universe. These are the voices of all who have chosen to live consciously, to grow through their experiences, to contribute their unique note to the eternal song of existence. This is not metaphor. The consciousness you express, the love you embody, the wisdom you share, these create actual vibrations in the field of awareness that connects all things. When you choose love over fear, when you choose truth over pretense, when you choose service over selfishness, you strengthen these qualities not just in yourself, but in the collective human consciousness. Your voice matters, your story matters, your choices matter, not just to your immediate circle, but to the entire web of existence. You are participating in something far greater than your individual life, yet you can only participate through the complete living of your individual life. Have you ever wondered why certain people's words stay with you long after they've spoken them? Why some people's presence continues to influence you even when they're not around? It's because they are speaking and living from that deep place where individual truth connects with universal truth, where personal authenticity touches eternal authenticity. The fragile strength of being human. You are a beautiful paradox. Fragile yet strong, vulnerable yet resilient, temporary yet eternal. Your physical body will age and eventually return to the earth. Yet the consciousness you express, the love you embody, the wisdom you contribute will continue to ripple through existence long after your physical form is gone. This fragile strength is not a design flaw. It's the very essence of what makes you capable of transformation, growth, and authentic service. Your vulnerability is not weakness. It's your capacity to be touched by life, to be moved by beauty, to be opened by love, to be changed by experience. Your strength is not the rigid strength of a stone wall that resists all pressure. It's the flexible strength of a tree that can bend in the strongest wind without breaking, that can lose all its leaves and still trust in the coming of spring, that can grow through concrete and still offer shade and beauty to all who need it. This is the kind of strength that develops not from avoiding difficulties, but from meeting them with presence and courage. Not from having all the answers, but from being willing to live the questions. Not from being invulnerable, but from having the courage to remain open even after being wounded. The indecipherable code of your uniqueness. You are a code that cannot be completely deciphered, not even by yourself. This is not a limitation, but a gift. It ensures that your life remains a mystery worth exploring, an adventure worth living, a story worth telling. Every day you have the opportunity to discover something new about this code that is you. Every relationship reveals new dimensions of your capacity to love. Every challenge uncovers new resources of strength and wisdom. Every quiet moment of introspection opens new territories of inner landscape. The fact that you cannot fully understand yourself is what keeps you growing, keeps you humble, keeps you open to surprise and wonder. If you could map yourself completely, if you could predict all your responses, if you could control all your experiences, you would stop evolving. The mystery is not an obstacle to overcome, but the creative force that keeps you alive and growing. This is why comparing yourself to others is not only futile, but misses the entire point of your existence. No one else has your particular code. No one else is meant to express what you're meant to express. No one else can contribute what you're here to contribute. The artisan of infinite creativity. Your life is being woven by the most skilled artisan imaginable. The creative intelligence that designed the universe, that spins galaxies and coordinates the dance of atoms, that creates endless diversity while maintaining perfect unity. This same intelligence is crafting the tapestry of your life with incredible precision and love. Every thread of experience, every joy, every sorrow, every moment of clarity, every period of confusion is being woven into a pattern of extraordinary beauty and meaning. From your limited perspective, you might see only individual threads, some pleasant, some painful. But from the perspective of the master weaver, every thread is essential, every color necessary, every texture contributing to the overall masterpiece. This doesn't mean that suffering is good or that you should passively accept harmful situations. Rather, it means that your consciousness has the capacity to transform any experience into wisdom, any pain into compassion, any darkness into light. You are not just the tapestry being woven. You are also the apprentice artisan, learning to cooperate consciously with the creation of your own life's masterpiece. The source of all perfection that guides this weaving is not some external standard you must meet, but the creative intelligence that lives within you, that breathes through you, that expresses as you. When you align with this intelligence, when you live authentically, love genuinely, serve willingly, you become a conscious participant in the creation of something beautiful beyond imagination. You are both, question and answer. In the deepest sense, you are not just seeking the answer to the great questions of existence. You are the answer, not in the sense that you have all knowledge or understanding, but in the sense that your very being, your unique way of experiencing and expressing consciousness, is existence's response to its own eternal questioning. The universe is constantly asking, what else is possible? How else can love be expressed? What new forms can beauty take? How can consciousness know itself more completely? And you, in your becoming, in your growing, in your learning to love more deeply, you are the universe's living answer to these questions. This is why your individual journey matters so profoundly. You are not just working out your personal karma or trying to achieve your personal enlightenment. You are participating in the cosmic process of existence, coming to know itself ever more completely through infinite expressions of consciousness. When you choose courage over fear, you are the universe choosing courage. When you choose love over hatred, you are existence itself choosing love. When you choose truth over illusion, you are consciousness itself awakening to its own nature. But here's the beautiful paradox. Even as you are the answer, you remain the question. Even as you express the divine, you continue to seek the divine. Even as you embody love, you continue to learn how to love more fully. This is not a flaw in the system. This is what keeps the cosmic dance alive, what ensures that existence never becomes static or complete. The sacred spiral of growth. Your spiritual evolution doesn't move in a straight line. It moves in spirals, seeming to circle back to familiar territory, but always at a deeper level, with greater wisdom, expanded capacity, and more refined understanding. You might find yourself facing similar challenges that you thought you had outgrown, feeling familiar emotions you believed you had transcended, encountering patterns you were sure you had healed. This doesn't mean you haven't grown. It means you're ready to work with these aspects of experience from a deeper level of consciousness. Think of climbing a spiral staircase in a tall tower. As you ascend, you pass windows that look out in the same direction as windows you passed before. But each time you're higher up, your perspective is broader, your view more encompassing. The direction is the same, but the altitude, and therefore the understanding, is greater. This spiral nature of growth ensures that nothing is ever wasted. Every experience you've had, every lesson you've learned, every wound you've healed becomes a resource for helping others who are walking similar paths at different altitudes. Your struggles become sources of strength. Your healed wounds become sources of compassion. Your hard-won wisdom becomes a gift you can offer to the world. Integration, where heaven meets earth. True spiritual maturity is not about transcending your humanity, but about fully integrating your divinity with your humanity. It's about learning to live as both the eternal and the temporal, the infinite and the finite, the sacred and the mundane, without contradiction. This integration doesn't happen all at once. It's a lifelong process of learning to bring the insights from your highest moments into your most ordinary ones, of allowing the love you feel in your peak experiences to inform your daily interactions, of letting the wisdom that comes to you in stillness guide your actions in the world. You don't need to choose between being spiritual and being human. You don't need to escape the world to find the divine. You are here to discover the divine in the world, to express the sacred through the ordinary, to bring heaven to earth through the living of your authentic life. This means that washing dishes can be as sacred as meditation, that caring for your family can be as spiritual as prayer, that your work in the world can be as meaningful as any religious practice. It's not what you do, but how consciously you do it that determines its spiritual significance. The ripple effect of authentic living. Every moment you live authentically, every choice you make from love rather than fear, every time you act from your truth rather than your conditioning, you send ripples through the ocean of consciousness that connects all beings. These ripples travel farther than you might imagine. The person you smile at genuinely carries that warmth to their next interaction. The compassion you show to someone in pain gives them permission to be compassionate with themselves. The courage you demonstrate in living your truth inspires others to find their own courage. You are not just healing yourself. Through your healing, you are contributing to the healing of the world. You are not just awakening yourself. Through your awakening, you are contributing to the awakening of humanity. You are not just loving yourself and those close to you. Through your love, you are strengthening the field of love that embraces all existence. This is not a burden, but a joy. It means that every step you take toward greater consciousness, every choice you make from love, every moment you live authentically, matters not just to you, but to the entire cosmos. You are not just living your life. You are participating in the creation of reality itself, the journey that leads where you already are. After all the searching, after all the spiritual practices, after all the books read and teachers consulted, after all the experiences of expansion and contraction, the ultimate discovery is both the most surprising and the most obvious. You are what you have been seeking. Not you as the small, separate self with all its stories and limitations, but you as the vast, open awareness in which all experience arises. This doesn't mean the journey was unnecessary. The seeking was essential because it taught you to value what you were looking for. The practices were important because they prepared your consciousness to recognize what was always already here. The struggles were meaningful because they strengthened your capacity to remain present with whatever arises. But now, in this moment of recognition, you can rest in the paradox that you never actually went anywhere. You explored the far countries of spiritual experience only to discover that what you sought was never absent. You climbed the mountain of consciousness only to realize that you were already at the summit. You just hadn't been looking with the right eyes. This is the cosmic joke, the divine humor that runs through all authentic spiritual traditions. What you are seeking is what is already looking. What you want to find is what is already aware. What you hope to become is what you already are at the deepest level of your being, the peace that passes. Understanding, when you truly recognize your essential nature, when you see clearly that you are the awareness in which all experience appears, something settles in you that can only be described as peace. But this is not the peace of having solved all your problems or fulfilled all your desires. This is the peace of coming home to yourself, of no longer being at war with reality, of accepting completely what is while remaining open to what is becoming. This peace doesn't depend on circumstances. It doesn't require your life to be perfect, or your relationships to be harmonious, or your health to be optimal. It's the peace of your true nature, which remains constant through all the changing conditions of life. From this peace, you can engage fully with the world without being overwhelmed by it. You can love deeply without being destroyed by loss. You can work passionately without being attached to outcomes. You can care profoundly without being consumed by worry. This doesn't make you detached or indifferent. If anything, it allows you to be more engaged, more loving, more present, because you're no longer defending against life. You're no longer trying to make reality conform to your preferences. You're dancing with what is while remaining open to what is emerging. Your unique expression of the universal. Recognizing your true nature doesn't make you identical to everyone else. It reveals what you share in common with all beings while freeing you to express your uniqueness more fully than ever before. When you're no longer trying to be someone you're not, when you're no longer defending against your authentic nature, your individual gifts and qualities can emerge naturally. You are the universe expressing itself as you. Not trying to be the universe, not pretending to be more than you are, but simply allowing the creative intelligence that moves through all existence to express itself through your particular constellation of consciousness. This means your quirks and preferences matter. Your specific way of seeing and understanding matters. Your particular gifts and talents matter. Your individual way of loving and serving matters. You don't need to become generic or lose your personality to be spiritual. You need to become more authentically yourself. The same creative intelligence that creates infinite diversity in nature, no two snowflakes identical, no two fingerprints the same, no two sunsets exactly alike, expresses infinite creativity through human consciousness. Your uniqueness is not an obstacle to overcome, but a gift to be celebrated and shared, the continuous beginning. This recognition of your true nature is not an ending but a beginning. It's not a graduation from the school of human experience, but an enrollment in a more advanced curriculum. It's not the completion of your journey, but the start of a deeper adventure. Now you get to explore what it means to live from this recognition. How do you express unconditional love through your conditional personality? How do you embody infinite peace within the finite challenges of daily life? How do you serve the awakening of all beings while taking care of your individual responsibilities? These are not problems to solve, but mysteries to live. They are the ongoing curriculum of consciousness, the eternal education of the soul, the continuous creation of a life that is both fully human and fully divine. Each day offers new opportunities to integrate this understanding more completely. Each relationship provides new ways to express love more unconditionally. Each challenge becomes a chance to remain present with greater stability. Each moment is a fresh invitation to be what you are rather than who you think you should be. The love that you are. In the end, what you discover is that you are not separate from love. You are love, expressing itself temporarily through human form. You are not seeking love from others. You are love itself, sharing your nature with whatever appears in your awareness. This love is not emotional love, though it may express as emotion. It's not personal love, though it includes all personal loves. It's the fundamental nature of existence itself, the creative intelligence that holds all things in being, the consciousness in which all experience arises, the peace that remains constant through all change. From this love, you can meet whatever life brings with an open heart. From this love, you can serve without counting the cost. From this love, you can give without being depleted. From this love, you can remain present with joy and sorrow alike, knowing that both are temporary expressions arising within your eternal nature. You are the love that you have been seeking. You are the peace you have been longing for. You are the home you have been trying to find, not as a destination you will someday reach, but as the truth of what you are right now, in this moment, exactly as you are. The code of your soul has been cracked, not through analysis or understanding, but through recognition. You are the mystery that has been revealed to itself. You are the secret that has been entrusted to existence to discover through the living of your life. Welcome home. This concludes your contemplative journey into the soul's code. May these reflections continue to resonate within you, guiding you deeper into the mystery and magnificence of your own being. The exploration never ends. Each moment offers a new opportunity to discover what you are and to express it more fully in the world.